everyone, my name is Alison Woodall and I have an online guide called Make the Move that helps you plan your move to a new state. And today I am talking to Dan Shafer of Nationwide Pet Transport. Dan, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing good. I am very excited to talk to you because there are so many people who are moving, all across the USA and they have pets, and maybe if their pet doesn't travel well, they don't know where to begin. And you are an expert at transporting pets.
I've been doing it for over 13 years now, so I've pretty much got an idea what to do.
Wow. Well, most of the people who are probably watching this video are based in California, and you actually lived in California and now you live in Arkansas. What was it that made you decide to move to Arkansas?
I've traveled the whole country and I'm familiar with most of the country, and we just thought Northwest Arkansas was the climate was good, and the infrastructure is really good here in Northwest Arkansas, and it's a growing community, and it's just been a great place to live. So,
and it's centrally located for getting pets and transporting them all over the country.
It is, for sure.
What is kind of like the first step that someone should take?
One of the first things you want to do is have your pets vaccinated and licensed, so that when you go to your new community, you can easily have them re-licensed there.
And you also mentioned having your pet chipped. Is that a good idea too?
You could have it chipped or have a GPS tracker. Yes, that's a great idea. And if you, that way, if they were to escape, because they could be startled by something, that when you get out and you're in a different environment and different surroundings and a big truck goes by or something and scares them, or they get away from you for whatever reason, then you have a way to get them back and find them.
Well, I was talking to a lady a couple of weeks ago, and I can't remember where she was moving to, but she bought cat leashes, and her kids were taking the cats out at a rest stop, and one of them got out of the leash, and then they had to spend like 20 minutes trying to get this cat back, and they were terrified that they wouldn't actually be able to catch it. So you never know what's going to happen when you're moving pets.
Cats can go up a tree and you're out of luck for a long time.
So do you have any recommendations about the kind of leashes people should use, or equipment that they need for moving their pets?
Yes, if you're moving dogs, you want to have a tight-fitting harness or a martingale collar or a slip lead, something like that, because like I said, if they get startled or something like that, when you're at a truck stop, a big truck goes by and honks or whatever, you don't know what the situation is going to be. You want to make sure they're secure and they can't get away. So that would be important.
Okay, wonderful. I know, because my dog, if he doesn't want to walk up a hill, all he does is pull really hard backwards, pull his collar off and start walking back down the hill.
They can back out of them. Yes, they can back out of collars very easily, and that has happened. That's why we specifically use a slip lead, and we don't even attach to a harness if they have one. We use our own slip leads, and we've never lost a pet. I'm
very lucky. I have a border collie, and from being a tiny puppy, he's gone everywhere with us. So he's very calm in a vehicle. But do you recommend that if you know that you're going to be traveling with your pet, you should start taking them in your vehicle, as soon as possible, and get them used to traveling in a car or a vehicle?
That's a good idea, to have them just so you know how they're going to respond to traveling in a car too. If you're not used to it, if they just, take them to the vet once a year or something, and it'd be good to have them, take a little bit longer trip and kind of see how they adjust. And some vets I know give different types of calming meds, and we don't like to use those, but sometimes they are necessary, certain dogs especially, and even some cats. But CBD without THC is one of the things that they have actually for dogs and for pets that sometimes works pretty well.
Okay, and obviously make sure it's something prescribed by your vet, not something that you buy off Amazon or something.
That's right.
Well, perfect. So when because you actually have a van with crates and things. I saw the video that Terry posted when you took his dogs to Florida. How do you transport someone's pet if they use your service?
Now, we're a door-to-door service that we go to your house and pick up, and then we give you a rough idea when we're going to be arriving at the other place. And so if we have two different types of transports, one is a shared ride and one is a private ride. Now, a private ride is usually for larger families of pets that are going, and we just go from point A to point B. We don't, we're not going to other places and picking up other pets. So it's just exclusively for your pets, and we go from point A to B. So we get there pretty quick, and it's much less because the pets are used to everybody else in the van. They acclimate better, and it's much faster for them. You're not driving all over the country. You're going basically from point A to point B. So.
And how do you keep them comfortable? Presumably all the animals are crated in your van and have water. Are there certain things that you do that keep them calm?
Yeah, USDA regulates us. We're supposed to be putting them in a crate. So we have airline approved crates that we use. And we put in some bedding for them if they need that. And the cats all have litter boxes inside the crate. So we use a bigger crate for cats that if they were to transport in your car per se, or in a U-Haul truck, you need to be able to have a litter box in there with a cat. And cats can be difficult because, you know, you can't really, I wouldn't suggest taking them out for walking like somebody that you just spoke with. It's cats stay in the crate the whole trip, and so the dogs get out and get walked 4 times a day. So yes, they get food and water. They have water 24/7 in the crate, and so they then we sleep in the van with them. So that's one of the things that if you're driving your own pet, you need to figure out what kind of hotel you need to get, if it's, you know, if your pets are okay in that hotel, if it's pet friendly. And you want to make sure that you have places to walk your dog. You know, some Love's truck stops have like dog parks, and some rest areas have some grass, but oftentimes leaving California, you're heading through the desert. And so you got to watch out for stickers and the hot pavement and things like that you may not have when you live along the coast or somewhere like that. So,
well, we stopped off in Vegas when we were actually moving to California, and we stayed in a hotel. And I never realized Vegas is incredibly dog friendly. You literally can take your dog in every casino,
right.
But they don't, when they have like a dog friendly area outside, it's all the like the AstroTurf,
yeah.
And when we were traveling there, it was the middle of summer, and this fake grass was so hot that my dog, yes. I mean, there was no way he could stand on it, so we had to take him into the dirt at the side.
That's right,
because it's you know, the ground is so hot for a dog's paws.
Yeah, one of the things that about transporting your own pets, it's where are you going, how are you going to walk them, and how are you going to use the restroom, or how are you going to get food and leave them. You can't really leave them in the car or vehicle. Often if we're on a private ride with my wife, Tracy, we will take, you know, she'll use the restroom, I'll walk the dogs, and then she'll come back and we'll switch. And so that often works. But if you're dealing with, I mean, you're talking about 5-6 days across the country per se, it'd be very difficult to stay with your pets that long. Oftentimes people don't really stay with their pets in their own little area for that long of a period of time. So it is quite different. And that's another thing, that not just traveling with your pet, but being with your pet in close quarters for that long of a period is something that you might consider.
Yeah, well, we were with our pet for 6 weeks. We took a 6-week road trip from Florida to California, and the only time that we had to modify our plans was a couple of national parks wouldn't allow dogs. in there. But other than that, he was with but I mean, I was traveling with my family. So, you know, if someone was using the rest stop or whatever, someone was always with the dog. But if you, with a little bit of planning, you can travel very easily with a dog that's not anxious. My dog literally gets into the truck, goes straight to sleep, wakes up when we stop. And obviously, if someone's traveling in their own vehicle, you can't leave your dog ever alone in those kind of.
That's right. You can't
leave them in any kind of temperatures because it's always so much hotter or so much colder in a vehicle.
And you may think, oh, it's a beautiful day. It's 80 degrees here along the coast. And then you get Las Vegas or Needles or somewhere like that heading across the desert or Phoenix, and it's 120. So, and I don't even stop when it's that hot, you know, and it's too hot for the pets. Our vans is insulated and has separate AC, so it's all temperature controlled. We have a heater for the winter that works really well, and so we've been in as high as 122 degrees and as low as 35 below. So we've pretty much seen it all.
Okay, so if someone used your pet transport service, you literally come pick up their pet, and then you're with their pet 24 hours a day, with the exception of a couple of rest stops, and you just drive straight across the country, either dropping off multiple pets or one family of pets straight to their destination.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, so your van is fitted out like a mini RV?
Yes. Yes, it's very much like an RV, only with crates in it.
Wow. And how many dogs can you transport at once?
We only carry 8 crates.
Okay.
So we limit it so it's not overwhelming for me trying to walk, you know, because, you know, the dogs may be only walking for 5 or 10 minutes each. But when you have 8 of them, that adds up to a lot of time. And if it's 100 degrees out there, or if it's, you know, 10 degrees out there, it's like I'm out there for a long time, they're not. And so they're thinking, what's the matter?
Wow. That's crazy. And do you transport, is it just dogs and cats, or do you take other pets as well?
We've done turtles, we've done reptiles, and, you know, birds, and all kinds of different pets. So.
Okay. And so how do you, I mean, if you're transporting a bird across the country, how do you do that? Do you just keep it in its cage?
Yeah, usually the client will send its cage with it. And so we'll like zip tie the corners so they, you know, because some of those cages aren't real strong. And then we keep it in a cool, dry place. And sometimes we'll cover them with a towel or something. So.
And if a pet is very anxious and you put, I mean, like, I know cats travel very badly. Do you just put them in the crate and accept that it's going to yowl and be angry and just keep on driving? Or what do you do if you have an angry cat?
Yes. Well, the cats, they usually calm down. Actually, most of the pets, they usually get used to the routine, and they usually calm down. Now, sometimes the dog will be panting or anxious that way, and or pawing at the crate, and but usually once they get to see that they get out and walk around and they know they're in a different environment, they're no longer around their master, they usually acclimate to me pretty fast, and usually they're pretty good. So we do have an occasional pet that we do have to give some kind of meds if they're sent with it, and so it'll calm them down.
I always think that pets pick up their owner's vibe. And so if you're anxious, your pet's going to be anxious. And obviously there are very few situations that are as stressful as packing up your whole life and moving across country. And your animal will have seen you packing up your house and be like, whoa, what's happening?
Absolutely.
And you're stressed and you're driving across the country and your animal picks up on that. Whereas if they're traveling with you, not only, the person who's traveling can focus on enjoying their trip while you can take care of being that calming influence on their pet.
Right. Moving, as we know, is one of the most stressful things you can do. And it's extremely taxing on people and pets. And so, yes, like you said, the pets are super smart, especially the cats. They know as soon as you start putting something in a box, something's up, and they start getting really apprehensive. And so it's something that you want to be calm, you want to be collected. I mean, a lot of times people are crying, they're not going to see their pet for a while. And so they're sending them off, and it can be very, the dogs and cats, the animals all pick up on that and makes them anxious as well.
Yeah. And then they get in a crate with you, they have routine, they have your calming influence, and then they soon calm down.
Yeah, it's the van is, I usually keep it's dark in there except for the light that comes in from the back or when I turn on the lights. And it's usually cool. And so it's pretty calming for them. They just lay down and rest, and works well.
Oh, good. So how do you charge? Do you charge per mile, by the size of the animal? I mean, I would have no idea how you would figure out your rates.
Yeah, based on the animal, the breed, and the weight, we determine what size crate, and then that crate has a certain charge associated with it. And private rides, it would be from door to door, the round trip mileage from our house to your house, and then to the new place, and then back to our house. So it's on a round trip basis.
How far out do you get booked? Does it kind of depend on the season? I mean, if someone is moving, should they, in 3 months' time, should they call you as soon as possible? Or can you kind of take, reasonably short-term bookings?
Typically, like, we've already got bookings for January. And so we do book ahead of time, but yeah, within 2 months for sure. Okay. 3 months would be good.
Yeah, so basically, once you start booking your moving truck or renting your U-Haul, you need to call you and get your pet transport taken.
Yeah, a lot of times it's difficult, especially on private rides and things like that. We know you're waiting for your closing date, and those things get shuffled around and stuff like that. So yeah, there's we try to be flexible with it. So, but once we know, what you have and where you're going and all that, you contact us, and then we can work that out with you.
Any other guidance for someone who might be transporting their own pet?
Plan ahead to know, to see how far you think you can go. Find some rest stops or some truck stops to walk your pets. Have plans, have a backup plan in case something happens to the vehicle. And that's one of the things that our van is equipped with, a generator in a backup system. So if the van doesn't run, we can keep the pets all healthy and cool and back if it's hot or warm, if that be the case. So when you're transporting and you don't have another vehicle, you need to have something like AAA where they can come out and assist you right away, and you can get help. That way the pets aren't going to get overheated or anything like that.
Wonderful. And I always love La Quintas. We always try and stay there. They're just great pet friendly hotels. They're not particularly luxurious, but they don't charge you a pet fee, because if you're paying $25 to $50 per night and you're staying in a hotel, 6 nights, those pet fees quickly add up. And they're normally nicer than Motel 6, which also doesn't charge a pet fee, but sometimes Motel 6 is a little bit rough around the edge.
Yeah, I like La Quintas. They do well. And then one of the other things, you want to make sure that there's not a capacity on the pets. Sometimes going into a hotel like that, they can have a limit of 2, or they can have a size limit or something like that. So you want to clarify that before you book it, and make sure there's no issues when you get there.
Okay, wonderful. So if someone wants to contact you and find out, about how you can transport their pet, what is the best way for them to contact you?
We have a website. It's nationwidepetransport.com. And there is a little button at the top, says get a quote, and fill out your information on there. And that works well. Also, you can call us. We have a 1-800 number, and it's 8888-LOVE-PETS.
It has been very informative talking to you. I know that a lot of people will have learned so much, whether they use your service or not, about how, the best way to move a pet. So I really appreciate you talking to me.
No problem. Thank you, Allison.